Good evening, baseball fans, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Bullpen Bulletin here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We have a ton of baseball to get to tonight. My normal co-host, Freddie, will be joining us in a few minutes here. But first, of course, we start every show with how we always start. It is Monday night. We have live games going right now. Not a ton of games this week, as this Monday is a little bit lighter. I think that's probably intentional by the league leading up to the All-Star break. Probably wanted to give some teams a little bit of a break here before the final stretch. Currently, we have the Braves versus the Mets. The Braves are leading 3-2. That one in the bottom of the seventh. The Braves have runners on second and third with two outs, so we'll see if they can do some damage there. We also have the Cardinals beating the Brewers 3-0. That one in the top of the seventh. We have three games final already today. We have the Royals beat up on the Phillies pretty bad, 15-1. Chris Sanchez with an uncharacteristic bad start in that one, but also the Phillies bats really weird, left 15 guys on base in 9 innings. Certainly not going to win very many baseball games there. We also had the Yankees beat the Rays 5-1. Fun fact in this one, the Yankees had 5 total base runners, 3 hits and 2 walks, and every single one of them scored thanks to a couple of home runs. And just going final just now, the Nationals beat the Astros 12-11 in a game where apparently no starting pitchers actually showed up to the ballpark. A lot of offense there. And later on tonight, actually starting in a couple of minutes, we have the Diamondbacks at the Padres, as both of them try to chase the Dodgers in the West. We've got the Blue Jays and the Giants facing off in San Francisco. That one starts at 9:45. And then we've got the Rockies in LA. That one starts at 10:10. And right on time, now that I finished that up, we do have my co-host jumping in here. Freddie is in the house. Good evening, Freddie. How are you doing, sir?
Good evening, Mike. I literally am jumping from one to another. This is the third show here consecutively. Thank you so much for having me back and on here tonight talking MLB. We missed, the show last week, but got plenty of action to talk about. I don't know what you've already got into or if you were just wrapping up the scoreboard, but we've got a big slate of games.
Just the scoreboard so far. That's all we've dove into so far. So we're going to get right to the good stuff. But of course, if you are a fan of the show or either Freddie or I, please do follow us on X. You can follow yours truly at IESR_DMB, and you can follow Freddie at FreddieB_sports. And of course, with Freddie just jumping in here, he's going to be seeing all of these headlines and stuff for the first time. So do for forgiveness as he tries to come up with answers on the fly. But I figured a good starting point for us this week would be the All-Star rosters. The All-Star game, of course, next Tuesday in Philadelphia. The rosters were revealed over the weekend, and if you were keeping track with the voting, not a ton of surprises, but as with every year, there are some snubs, some guys who probably deserved it, and some decisions that you start to question. Of course, the headline of the questionable ones and a little bit of controversy with Vlad Guerrero Jr. of the Blue Jays getting voted into the first base starting spot and then almost instantly opting not to go. Now, of course, the initial media reaction was them saying, "Oh, he's doing it because he doesn't think he deserves to be there." Well, actually, it's because he has
true.
He doesn't deserve to be the starting all-star first baseman for the American League. That's true. But he also has a back injury that has been bothering him, and he's going to take advantage of the all-star break to hopefully rest that up and come back for the second half of the season. It looks like it'll be most likely Nick Kurtz of the Athletics taking his spot there with Ben Rice of the Yankees backing him up. Two worthy all-star selections there in Kurtz and Rice. Freddie, were there any, obviously we know some of the starters were a bit shocking. Were there any decisions here that you kind of questioned looking at the rosters for the leagues?
You know what? I really wanted Jordan Walker in there and starting. I mean, he over Juan Soto, I think, made the most sense. With the season that he's having. I mean, they did get it right with Brandon Marsh and Andy Pott has a good choice as well. He's really having a solid season for the
Absolutely, yeah.
Dodgers. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad to see Mike Trout getting back in there. He's had a nice season so far, a bounce back for Trout. No, yeah, the Vlad thing, yeah, Nick Kurtz definitely more deserving, or Ben Rice. Either you could have gone with either one, and both of them will be there. But other than that, not a whole heck of a lot as far as surprises with the starting players.
Right. Yeah, the starters, like I said, if you followed voting, you knew how this was going to go. And, for the most part, the vast majority of them, I would say, pretty worthwhile. I do think it's interesting that, at least amongst the reserves, Bryce Terang did not make it in the National League.
Yeah.
He's been having a great season. He was one that stood out to me. And then Zach Wheeler of the Phillies, I know he missed the first month of the season, but has been almost as good as his counterpart, Chris Sanchez, there at the top of that Phillies rotation. I'm a bit surprised he didn't get a spot either.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it falls on where he's going to be, pitching. He may be pitching like the last Sunday before, so I don't know if that had any effect as to whether or not him making it. But yeah, the reserves are always, those are the ones that are, I think, voted in and selected by the coaches. Is that right, Mike?
Yes.
So those guys
yes.
make a lot more sense.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think the National League has a stacked lineup. We're not even talking as Kyle Schwarber, being in the starting lineup as well. He's going to be a reserve.
Right.
Why isn't Schwarber DHing?
Yeah, it's a pretty it's a pretty stacked lineup when you've got Schwarber as a backup in the All-Star.
Actually, the National League could have a whole another roster put together of guys who could potentially be starters just in their reserves. I mean, Bryce Harper, Matt Olson, Corbin Carroll, Pete Crow Armstrong, and Jordan Walker. There's your outfield. That's set. And James Wood. Jeez, they are stacked.
Yeah, no, it is a stacked group, and not even getting into the pitching rotation, which also has some great names to it. But yeah, I mean, and of course, I'm happy to see Adley Rutschman make his third All-Star appearance, the lone Oriole, if I were to do a self shout out there. Not surprised about some of the other ones. People argued for Pete Alonso, but it's like, I mean, who of Kurtz and Ben Rice do you bounce for Alonso? I mean, that's just, unless you go with 3 first basemen and you already have 3 catchers. So yeah, I'm sad to not see Alonso there because he's having a great season overall, but I'm not mad about it.
No, I'm not mad about that one either. I mean, yeah, I think it's good. I'm interested to see how the pitching goes. That's the biggest thing when it comes down to these games right here. Who's going to be the starting pitcher named? And as for right now, if I had to guess, we may see Dylan Cease starting for the American League.
I could see that. Looking at the American League lineup, it's really, I mean, Cease kind of seems to be the name that stands out, especially with, I think, didn't Schlittler just get hurt recently? I don't remember. I thought I had seen that. Maybe not. But yeah, Cease seems like the more obvious choice in the American League. And then in the National League, I mean, it's got to be Mizorowski, right? Like, there's no way they would go with anyone else right now.
Yeah, I think he's got to start for sure. Again, it's based on where they finish the regular season too. If they're pitching on a Saturday or a Sunday before the break, then that may throw a curveball in there.
Right. So we'll have to see how that all plays out. One thing that did surprise me, I did not. It's shocking to me that this is Joan Duran of the Phillies. This is his first All-Star game.
It's okay.
I that surprised me. I would have thought he would have made one previously. He seems like he's been a pretty strong closer for a bit, but this is apparently
Where
his first one.
he was in Philadelphia. I mean, he was in Minnesota, right?
Yeah, he was in Minnesota and then got traded to Philly at the deadline
Yes.
last year.
Yeah, for Sir Anthony
Yep.
Dominguez. That was that trade. That's right. Yeah, I mean, he's a really good. I mean, the reserves are outstanding on the National League. The pitchers are outstanding. Chase Burns, Max Meyer, I mean, Chris Sale, Christopher Sanchez, even Paul Skeens. He's having an off season. Yoshinobu Yamamoto up there, Logan Webb,
Logan
and
Webb.
then you've got Raisel Iglesias and Mason Miller in the pen. I mean, who's going to get any hits?
Certainly not Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Certainly.
Yeah. Well, again, All-Star game going to be next Tuesday in Philadelphia. So we will get one more show in before there. Actually, I think we'll be live next week during the Home Run Derby, if I remember correctly. So that'll be fun to follow as we move through that episode. Moving on in the headlines, and we brought this up in our chat earlier before the show, and I mean, some shame needs to be brought to this moment right here. The Marlins perfect game blunder. Now, for those of you who did not hear about this occurred yesterday. Marlins starting pitcher Yuri Perez had completed 7 innings, 92 pitches, and had thrown a perfect game up to that point. The manager decided, this is a perfect time to take Perez out of the game, thereby ruining our chances to see potentially the first perfect game of the season, or maybe even a no-hitter, which I don't think there's been a no-hitter yet this year, has there?
I don't know. I think the Astros may have thrown a combined earlier in the season.
Yeah, maybe a combined no-hitter, but not a solo no-hitter.
Not a solo.
But in any case, now what proceeds to happen is in the 8th inning, the bottom of the 8th inning, the Marlins proceed to let the first 5 hitters score. And what was an 8-0 lead became an 8-5 lead. Now they managed to get out of that inning. They get an insurance run in the 9th, and then the 3 more runs score before they finally close it out with a 9-8 victory. But man, what could have been an all-time epic blunder ended up just being a minor blunder that might have robbed us of a little bit of history. But I mean, Freddie, I think you and I have had this conversation a couple of times this year. Like, this is ridiculous, right? I'm not on an island here thinking that this was a horrific move.
100%. And I don't know why the choice was even made to pull him. You're up 8-0. So get him out there to start the 8th inning. He's already gone 7, only at 92 pitches. Obviously, he was hurt, made a comeback start. I think he threw like 84 pitches in his previous game, but you're flirting with a perfect game, which is extremely rare. I mean, worst case scenario, he throws 15 pitches and you're at 107 after 8. And then you can maybe, throw in your reliever only to get 3 outs.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. And I mean, he was on regular rest, but the Marlins did have the day off today, so he was going to get a built-in extra day this upcoming week too.
Exactly.
And, you make a good point coming off of the injury. That's a fair point. Regular, rest, which I guess, I mean, I like to see the extra day of rest, but also
you're also getting the All-Star break next week. So that's added rest. A couple
after his
more
start,
pitches,
which should be on Saturday against Cleveland. Yes, that is when it would be. He gets a whole week.
Yeah, Clayton McCullough is kicking himself after that. They almost lost the game as well. They almost blew that game. I understand. Pulling him. Say it was a 1 or 2 run game. It was a close game. They were up 8-0 going into the 8th inning. So that just made no sense. analytics or whatever, or just a bad managerial decision right there altogether. But you robbed us fans. Even the fans in Sacramento were chanting, shame, shame, shame because of taking Perez out of the game.
Unbelievable. Well, again, did not end up being an all-time epic blunder by the Marlins, but definitely a blunder to say the least. But somebody who is not blundering right now is Junior Caminero of the Rays. This man is on an absolute tear right now. So entering after the game against the Royals on June 22nd, Caminero had 12 home runs. Okay, just keep for the numbers for everybody at home. That was through 76 games played. So 15 home runs through 76 games. Respectable pace, a little over 30 home run pace. Since then, in 12 games, he has hit 11 home runs, including a 3 home run game in that same series against Kansas City, putting him up to 26 on the season, which is 4th in the league. And man, I don't think there's a hitter that is hotter in baseball right now than Caminero.
No, he had a 6-game homer streak. With that, I mean, yeah, he was providing the offense. It was almost a safe choice just taking him to hit a home run every night just for the heck of it. And you could have won for almost an entire week betting his props. That's crazy. Yeah, dude is mashing, and that's great because not only that, but Tampa Bay has gone on a run with the Yankees skid, and they've distanced themselves in the AL East in this run that Caminero has been on.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's very key. And that, I think, is a perfect segue, Freddie, to get to our week in review, where we're going to look back. Actually, I guess we would call it a 2-week in review since we missed last week, where we look back at who's doing great, who maybe hasn't done as well. And I got to say, compared to the last couple of times we've done this segment, there are actual legitimate teams, I feel like, out here who you can really say, wow, they have been on a tear. They have been playing great, consistent baseball for a couple weeks, and teams that you can look at and go, they have stunk for the last 2 weeks. So Freddie, who are some of your highlights for this past I guess 2 weeks? Give it 2 weeks.
Yeah, the Marlins. The Marlins and Phillies have been playing great baseball. They have closed the gap to the Atlanta Braves in the NL East. Phillies 3.5 back now, and the Marlins going 7-3 over their last 10 have found themselves only 4.5 games behind the Braves at 49-42. If you told me, what is that, 90 games into the season that the Marlins would be, 7 or 8 games over 500, I would have thought you were kidding. But they're playing great. I think I had them in our preview show before the season started to finish last. So it just goes to show you how much I know.
Yeah, I think I was right there along with you. Maybe I might have had the Nats last. I think I was pretty critical, although the Nats have been playing pretty darn good baseball as well. They've stayed over 500, which is better. Like by this time last year, they had kind of started their curtail off, but they have maintained it behind some outstanding offense from James Wood and CJ Abrams. So, by the way, but the Marlins, fun fact, 19-6 in the month of June.
That's crazy.
That is incredible play. And like you said, closing the gap on the Braves, the Marlins, and the Phillies, whereas the Braves, I think it was not that long ago that the Braves had a 9 or maybe even a 10-game lead in the division. That is now cut down to the Phillies are 3.5 back. The Marlins are 4.5 back. Heck, the Nats are 7 back. So all 3 teams making that division really interesting. The Cubs woke up, I guess. They remembered, oh, right, we can win games.
Sure. When you score 23 runs against the Padres.
That does make it easy. Usually, I'd like to check and see what the record is of teams that score 23 runs in a game. I'd be willing to bet that they're undefeated.
You
I'd
talk
be
about
willing to
yeah.
bet that's pretty much a guaranteed win. And they've closed the gap a little bit on the Brewers. Still a 6-game gap there, though. The Brewers are still been playing good baseball. And
They have been.
Freddie,
Go.
Freddie, I hate to point this one out because they're in your division.
Oh.
But the Dodgers
Oh.
absolutely tearing it up and being aided by the rest of the division not tearing it up.
Oh, from top to bottom. And the Padres saw them for 7 games over the last 10 days, basically. Yeah, it started back in San Diego. That was a bad series. The Padres won the first game of that series and then Dodgers, I think, had a 10-run 6th inning on the way to a blowout win, and they ended up taking that series 2-1. It was promising for the Padres at first, and then just this weekend, taking the first 3 in the worst fashion. The Padres have a 6-0 lead and blow that game. Saturday night, they have a 3-0 lead and lose on a grand slam. And, and they ended up getting the win yesterday. But the Dodgers, man, top to bottom, their lineup is just cooking. I mean, doesn't matter who they plug in there. They plug in Freeland at second base, and he's contributing. You get Tommy Edman back, and he starts hitting the ball. And it's just one guy after the other. It really doesn't matter how good their starting pitching is doing because their offense as of late is just crushing the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Dodgers absolutely on a tear. You mentioned the Rays. The Rays have been doing great. The Red Sox too. My goodness, they're still in the basement, but man, they are starting to make a bit of a comeback there. At least maybe to challenge the Orioles and the Blue Jays, who are playing about as an uneven baseball as you can imagine.
Maybe
two.
Contreras is just the spark that they needed.
Maybe.
A
Speaking of
couple of
worthy All-Star snubs, by the way, I don't believe Contreras made it, but he another worthy first baseman.
But yeah, I mean, the Red Sox 12 out still, only 4 games out of the wild card though,
which is sad to say. But
when you're 8 games under 500, you're still 4 games out of the wild card. That's pretty good, and you've won 8 out of your last 10. They maybe we'll see a second half surge by the Red Sox.
Maybe. Now I'm trying to remember when we did our segment about last place teams and which ones we thought were down and out. Did we vote the Red Sox had the best chance?
I think we did. I think we did because based on their starting pitching.
That might be the first bullpen bulletin prediction in a year and a half that has been semi-accurate. So
I mean, Sonny Gray just the other night was flirting with a no-hitter. He's been great. The injury last night, I think, to Ranger Suarez. I don't know if that's going to put him out or not. Just trying to field a ball that was tapped over the mound. But yeah, their pitching
currently listed as day to day. So
okay. I think it was like a calf strain or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think it's the end of the world. And of course, Connolly, Early, and Peyton Toll can't talk about how much they have done to help keep the season in place for the Red Sox. Team very interested to see how they approach the trade deadline, especially if they keep getting hot, even if they're below 500. I mean, if they're still only 3 to 4 games out, this might be a team to make a run.
Yeah, it could be. Very the Astros are another team who are starting to play a little bit better as well. Only 5-5 though over their last 10, but it seems like they're gaining some momentum as the season is going on. I'm interested to see, where they're at by the end of July, and then come August 3rd at the trade deadline. Where are they going to be buyers or sellers?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, they're gonna the American. It's kind of like the National League last year. There were a group of teams that were like kind of hovering around that 500 and the wild card spot, and people were trying to decipher, even like in the week leading up, who's going to deal, who's
Oh.
going to like go for it. And I think the American League is going to be very similar this year. You're going to have a handful of teams within reach of that wild card, but some of them inevitably are going to say, you know what, guys, I don't think this is our year. We're gonna have to we're gonna bow out of this one.
Yeah, the American League only has 5 teams with a record over 500
Yeah,
versus
and then what
9.
you got? Is it the Rangers? Is it that are exactly 500
Yeah,
owning the last wild card spot?
yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
the good news is hey, only like I'm thinking only 83 or 84 wins gets you that third wild card spot. So,
Very well can.
yep.
Then you got teams like, the Dodgers, Brewers, Braves, Phillies, Cubs, throw the Marlins in that I mean, record-wise, they're better than everybody else other than Tampa Bay.
Yeah, the Nationals are over here. Like, can we switch to the American League really quick?
Yeah.
And just hop over there. Let's trade spots with the Orioles. We're in the same area, anyways. Let's just flip
Yeah,
over.
I don't
Just flip
remember
divisions.
I don't remember the American League just being really this bad from top to bottom, really. I mean, it's kinda
I can't
disappointing.
remember. It's crazy to think that you may only end the season with 6 or 7 teams with a winning record. Um, I hope you get that 6th playoff team with a winning record because I don't want to hear the comments that people are going to have if team number 6 in the American League makes it with like a 500 or worse record. Meanwhile, you'll probably have an 86 or 87 win team in the National League
Oh,
not
yeah.
make it.
Yeah, that's like just happened in the NHL this year. The worst team in the Western Conference wins their conference or their division, and every team on the East was better than them as far as like, and your Capitals
Yeah,
even better than the
yeah,
Knights as far as that goes. I know,
yeah,
but
yep,
hey, you
yep,
guys
yep.
made some nice moves so far.
We did. But this is a baseball show, not a hockey show. We'll get to that. I'll promise you, I'll do a guest spot on Neutral Zone next year, and we can talk about
Perfect.
that then.
That sounds great.
Yep, assuming Adam Karnick is on board, which I cannot imagine he won't be. He's got to be having a good time with his Cubs right now. They're doing pretty great. So
They are. They're a fun team to watch. I watched them just beat the Padres, and we're talking about teams that suck right now. The Padres just snapped an 8-game losing streak, and I knew it was going to be a factor. Their offense is actually starting to produce. Tatis Jr. has 5 homers now. Machado, I think, is up to 17 homers. They're starting to hit the ball.
the team hit his 18th last night.
So they're hitting the ball. It's just the pitching. They have 0 starting pitching. Really, I mean, Michael King is supposed to be their ace, but he's lost his command. Some key walks his last 2 starts led to comebacks by the opposing teams and ended up being losses. I mean, Walker Buehler, I think he's pitching tonight. He's really got to be like, hey, we got to get 6 innings out of you because our bullpen is so taxed. Wandy Peralta had to make a start last night in that game.
You're really starting to get to that point in the season where the bullpen taxing is starting to become a real problem across the league. Some teams have managed it, like the Orioles randomly recently have had a good stretch of pitching. The bullpen is not particularly overtaxed. Several guys actually pacing less than their like maximum like innings and pitches. So, but yeah, on a whole league wide, that's going to become the conversation now is, where are people's bullpens standing at? And of course, relievers are going to go flying left and right at the deadline.
That's where a team like the Marlins sneakily have very good starting pitching in the National League, which could carry them into, ending the season in possible wild card spot. I don't think they're going to move on from Sandy Alcantara now. I mean, he's having a bounce back season. Yuli Perez is having a really good season as well. The Marlins, keep an eye on them for their pitching.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Now, looking up ahead, we do have basically every team's got 2 full series left before the All-Star break. Some of them started them tonight. Many will start tomorrow. So, Freddie, what are your series to watch for the rest of the week as we head towards the break?
Man. Starting this week, all the games, the Brewers and Diamondbacks maybe. The Diamondbacks are starting to play a little bit better baseball. I'm sorry, that was last week. I'm looking at the wrong dang schedule.
Yeah, I was looking for that one on here. I was like, where do you see the Brewers?
I always talk about Brewers and Cardinals.
I do like Brewers-Cardinals.
Brewers-Cardinals
starting tomorrow. Or no, that's on right now, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, it's starting right now.
Tonight.
It's 4-3 in the 8th. That's a really good series. That's probably the one that stands out in the National League. Obviously, Diamondbacks, Padres, battling for second place. Who's going to be the runner-up to the Dodgers and finish 32 games out at the end of the season? And then you've got the Rays and the Yankees, and the Yankees take game 1 of that series. Cam Schlittler, like you just talked about, his first game back, I think he went like 8+ tonight.
Yep, he went 8 exactly. You're correct.
Okay.
Yep. So I agree with you. Both of those really good. Curious about for this week. Curious about Boston and the White Sox. We just talked about Boston, hot team, continuing to ride their momentum. White Sox, a team, one of the 5 teams with a record above 500 in the American League, which was not on my baseball bingo card. Nope. If you had told me, Nate, hey, at the 90 game mark, 5 teams are going to be above 500 in the American League. Name the 5. The White Sox would not have been on my list. Everybody else, maybe Rays, Yankees, in Guardians, and Mariners. Reasonable picks. But you've got a surprise team and a team that's trying to fight their way back. I think that could be a really good series. That one kicks off tomorrow. And then over the weekend, leading us into the break, just taking a quick look. Milwaukee, Pittsburgh continuing to fight pretty well. Very good offensive team against a team with very good pitching. And also, I think Pittsburgh, Sunday, Mizorowski versus Skeens.
Okay. All right.
That's I didn't even know that was happening.
That's a sexy matchup right there. I like that.
I'm glad. Well, I guess maybe neither of them might start the All-Star game then.
Yeah, that's true.
Not there.
You know what? Yeah, that's must-see TV Sunday. I wonder if they'll flex that one to the 4 o'clock NBC game. That'd be sweet if they did that.
Maybe I could see that. Yeah, no Sunday night baseball this upcoming week because, well, everybody's going to get off early so that they can go to the baseball game. There is the ESPN primetime game at 4:10 is the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers. And then your Peacock, actually, that is your Peacock 12:15.
Okay.
Game. So it will be on Peacock, which means I think I have Peacock, so I think I can actually watch that.
Yeah. You know what? Another good series, actually a really good week and a testing point that we just talked about, the Marlins. They are playing the Mariners starting tomorrow. Max Meyer, who's 9-1, gets the start. Mariners still clinging to a small lead in the AL West, but that's a good matchup. And then right after Seattle comes to town over the weekend, Cleveland comes to town, who's another first place-ish team going down to South Florida. So the Marlins have some pretty good tests playing against interleague leaders right now. I'm interested to see how they come away over the next 6 games.
Absolutely. Yeah. You get to this time, it's like it's do or die. You're either going to do it or you're not going to do it here in these hot summer months. That will do it for the first part of our show. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we are going to go down on the farm to look at our minor league highlights for the week. And then, in addition to All-Star Game coming up, we do have the MLB Draft is coming up on Saturday. So we're going to talk a little bit about some prospects and maybe some things to watch as we go to there. Do not go away. You are listening to the Bullpen Bulletin here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at iSports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the iSports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop, including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at iSports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making iSports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back to the Bullpen Bulletin here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Before we jump into the second half, let's get some score updates on where we currently stand now. Of course, many of the games had gone final already, so no other finals have happened. Although the Mets and Braves are close. The Mets are leading 5-3 in the bottom of the ninth. That would be even better for those National League teams you're talking about chasing them down if the Mets pull off the upset there. Brewers, as Freddie mentioned, had a very exciting seventh inning, scored 4 runs, now lead 4-3, entering the bottom of the eighth. The Diamondbacks and Padres have kicked off, and the Diamondbacks lead that one 2-0 in the bottom of the second. The Giants are leading the Blue Jays 1-0, that one in the bottom of the second, and the Rockies and Dodgers appear to be kicking off right as we speak. So that game just getting underway. So now we're going to jump down to the farm where we take a look at any minor league news. And probably the biggest news of this past week was the reveal of the 2026 All-Star Futures game roster. That game will be played. I'm trying to see it on this summary, see if it's got a date for me. It does
Sunday?
not. But
or Monday?
I think yes. Is it part of, or is it on Monday? Is it part of the All-Star Week festivities? I can't remember.
I think it's on Sunday.
Okay, so Freddie B with the info there. It's on Sunday, and it's a star-studded lineup. Of course, several players that would normally that would have qualified in the past cannot because they graduated and are now in the big leagues. Guys like Connor Griffin, Kevin McGonigal by the way, congratulations to Kevin McGonigal and Travis Bazzana making the All-Star game as rookies in the American League.
Yeah.
So congratulations to them as reserves. But still a star-studded lineup. Leo DeVries, the number 2 prospect, the big prospect in the Mason Miller trade last year, he'll be in it. Number 1 overall prospect, Jesus Made. Number 3 overall prospect, Eli Willits. The future of shortstops is in very good hands in baseball. And, going on down the list for your Padres, they've got Ethan Salas, the catcher, and Cash Mayfield, left-handed pitcher, are going to be participating. For the Orioles, it's 2 draft picks from last year. Again, a team that many of their prospects have now graduated. Ike Irish and Joseph Zira, who's having a phenomenal season in Double-A. I know their name changed to Chesapeake, but I'm still forever going to call them Bowie because I grew up in Bowie, Maryland, having a tremendous season there.
Yeah, a lot of big guys and guys that I like to see here on this Futures League, Futures game roster are guys that we've been following here on Dirt and Diamonds this year, where we're covering the California League. They've got 2 players. One of them had a call up earlier in the season in Cason Cunningham, who was playing at Visalia for the Rawhide, is a big number 4 or number 2 prospect for the Diamondbacks and their organization, and then still playing single A ball right now in Fresno. We just talked about him a little bit earlier. For the Rockies is Roldy Brito. He plays center field. He also plays second base. The Rockies' number 3 prospect right now. Got to see him firsthand a week ago as well. So I like seeing those young guys that are down in single A still getting represented, playing with guys in the higher leagues.
Yep, absolutely. And some other big names, Walker Jenkins of the Twins gonna be in this game. Like, yeah, basically almost anybody who's in the top 100 is in this game. So a lot of stars, a lot of names that you are probably going to be hearing about in the future of the
Yeah,
sport.
George Lombard Jr.
Mhm.
He's going to be playing in this game as well. Big shortstop for the Yankees organization. So, yeah, a lot of guys that in a year or two, or maybe even by the end of this season, could get their call ups to the pros.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's exciting. That's coming up on Sunday. So be sure to check out highlights of that game. And yeah, obviously, as well, of the other big minor league news really is going to be coming on Sunday with the MLB draft, which is right around the corner. Probably the most interesting development, if I were to jump out to the start here, is entering the season, it was generally a league-wide consensus that Roche Trowalski for the UCLA Bruins was going to be the number 1 pick. And it's not that he had a bad season for the Bruins. He had a very good year, although it might have helped in a little bit if they hadn't gotten knocked out in the group in the regionals of the College World Series. But now the first overall pick is pretty murky, as talented shortstop prospect Grady Emerson
Yeah.
has entered the conversation, and also a lot of momentum for Georgia Tech catcher Van Lackey.
Yeah.
Gotten some waves, not necessarily as number 1 per se to the White Sox,
White Sox.
potentially going ahead of Cholowski in various scenarios. I actually have a New York Times mock draft that has Emerson 1, Lackey 2 to the Rays, and then Cholowski 3 to the Twins. And I've seen some mocks that have Cholowski going as low as 4 to the Giants.
Really?
So that's been kind of the more interesting development. And it's nothing against Cholowski. It's just Lackey had a great season. Emerson had a great season. And teams are also trying to guess. There's this weird component with the MLB draft. It's always so difficult to explain the concept of the over slot, under slot, full slot value that they do in paying in offering signing bonuses to players.
Yeah, you know what? That number 1 pick might. I think it's still going to be Rock, but yeah, it could definitely be either shortstop. I don't think Lackey goes number 1. I think he's a perfect fit for the Twins at number 3. But then you talk about this is, I mean, you're going to see a lot of shortstops getting selected here, and they always, end up converting because they're the most athletic position on the field, and usually the most athletic player. I mean, George Lombard's little brother, Jacob Lombard, is projected to go number 4 to the Giants at this point on the mock that I was looking at. And then I remember a couple of years ago when the Angels, I think selected like 23 pitchers in the draft. Like every pick they made was a pitcher, and I don't think any of them have really panned out.
Yeah, I think that was the season they surprised the world by taking, and I'm trying to remember, I want to say the name was Ty Brenner.
Yeah, I think so.
Who wasn't even in the top 20 on some people's rankings, taking him in the top 5.
That was Perry Manassian's first draft as GM, I believe, and he wanted to shake up things in the organization, and he's obviously done that.
Well, I mean, he certainly did.
The biggest arm, obviously, Jackson Flora. Where's he going to go? Who's going to want to make the splash and take the big right-hander out of UC Santa Barbara? I'm interested to see where he goes. According to my mock here, he maybe to the Royals at number 6, but again, he can fluctuate.
Yeah, for Flora, I've seen anywhere from 4 to the Giants to 6 to the Royals. I'm hoping he just go one more pick to the Orioles. That's all I ask. Just one more down from the Royals to the
Yeah.
Orioles for Flora. Just have him go just a little bit extra further drop. Now, of course, knowing Mike Elias, he would probably still pick a lefty college bat, but
I mean,
yeah, no,
Drew Burris, if he falls to you guys, is not a bad pick at all.
Drew Burris has been a very popular mock to the Orioles, and I like the pick. I mean, this is a guy, realistically, if he was 6'1", he'd probably be top 2 or 3. I
Yep.
think the only knock you have on him is the height, but you look at his production at Georgia Tech, it was fantastic. He's got the stuff to play center field in the pros. And
Yeah.
that's always one of the tough components, and you brought it up as well, is the projection of the defensive positions. It's a little bit easier for college players because you've seen them more on the field, and their bodies have also physically matured more. So you kind of see where they've developed and where they go. It's very tough for high schoolers to accurately predict, like looking at Emerson and Lombard, for example. I mean, both of those guys, yeah, they say, oh yeah, they could both stick at shortstop. They're both 6'3". So like if they fill out those frames, they get kind of the bigger, stronger builds. Does that work at shortstop? Do they have to kick over to third base? Do they move over to second base? Some of them are obvious. Like I could have told you right off the bat when the Orioles selected Jackson Holliday first overall in 2022, he was not going to stay at shortstop in the pros.
Yeah.
Like that was a pretty easy guess, but sometimes that can be the hardest part to predict, is where these guys develop physically, especially the high schoolers, and where does that land them ultimately.
Yeah, you know what? You could see like some of these guys, like how quickly they can also make it up through the rankings. You talk about a guy like Jack O'Dowd, who started this year at Single A in Fresno, played 22 games, had 7 homers, 25 RBIs. Then he gets called up to Spokane in High A, and in only 34 games there, he hits 9 bombs with 38 RBIs. He's now been called up again to the Hartford Yard Goats, which is the Double-A affiliate of the Rockies. So, I mean, you could get a guy like, and he's a catcher. So if you get a guy like Von Lackey or one of these other catchers or somebody that's got a niche position in a team's organization, they can make a quick rise up through, and you may see somebody who gets drafted, making the show sooner than expected.
Absolutely. I mean, hey, look, a lot of these guys, they have like 2-year timelines. The high schoolers a little bit longer. But don't forget, there are rare, weird occasions. Nolan Chanel for the Angels was drafted, I think, back in 2024, and he made his pro debut later that season. I think maybe 45 days after he got drafted, he was up with the big league teams. I don't know if there's anybody in this class that quite has that possibility. Usually it has to be at a position like a first base or a DH where the learning curve is not as steep. Like it's awfully tough to come in as a shortstop, even if you played college shortstop, and just work your way up and be like, okay, now I'm a shortstop in the major leagues. That's usually a recipe for some problems.
Well, you may see it with a team, again, like the Angels. They did it in 24 when they drafted Christian Moore. He played at the end of the season with the Halos. So you could get a team that's down in and needs to, due to injury or just lack of anybody, contributing. You may see somebody who's a first rounder get a call up.
So of the guys who you see at the top of this draft, or really any of them, of the probably college players, let's be realistic, who do you think could make it to the show first?
Oh, man. I mean,
and
yes,
I actually do have an answer for this one.
I think Rock is maybe the best choice, just because he played all 4 years at UCLA. has been through a lot, and he's just a great athlete that he can find a spot at a hole, maybe at a second base, or if they convert him to outfielder or something like that, maybe sooner than somebody else. Another guy is Justin LeBron, the shortstop out of Alabama. I think he's a guy with a lot of talent that can maybe get an early call up.
Yeah, I like LeBron. The only thing I think that might hold LeBron back a little bit is I think it's going to take his bat a little bit more time to adjust to pros. I do like your Chalowski pick. He's my second one. My pick is Burris. I think if Burris lands on a team like, say, the Orioles, for example, and they happen to be out of it, they deal a bunch of guys at the deadline. If he gets hot, he's a name that could make it up there a lot quicker.
If they can move off from like a Tyler O'Neill, then you can bring him in to play, left, center, or right.
Yeah, or Taylor Ward, move off from Taylor Ward. He's a very popular one. And maybe not even this year, that might be ambitious, but if you move some prospects around, he's a guy who has the makeup, and like Chalowski, like you said, is the same. These are guys that, the mental component is there, the work ethic is there, and you've got the physical tools as well, and the advanced development. So I think, you mentioned Chalowski. I think Burris as well. Those are two guys that could rise very quickly, and perhaps as soon as 2027 be on a big league roster.
Yep.
So now we enter the final part of our show, Around the Diamond, where we just talk about whatever topic we happen to have on our mind. Obviously, we've covered a wide array of topics this evening, covering, the All-Star game and the, draft, minors, all of that jazz. So, Freddie, what is your Around the Diamond topic for the week?
Oh, geez. I love this one, and we've talked about umpires almost on every show this season, Mike. Seven umpires are going to take a buyout and retire early in 2026. So CB Buckner, Laz Diaz, Brian O'Hara, Lance Barksdale, Marvin Hudson, Tony Randazzo, and Andy Fletcher are all going to be gone. I think this has a lot to do with ABS being a big part of things as well. So that many guys, who've been in the league for that long, opting to go out, I think is newsworthy. That's kind of the thing that shocked me the most.
Yeah, and by the way, there may or may not have been cheering going across baseball when CB Buckner was announced to be retiring.
Oh man, I mean, yeah, please.
Probably one of the most universally hated umpires ever in the game, that guy right
Without
there.
Without a doubt, yeah.
And also I noted wherever, I forget, I saw the list and there was a ranking. It had a ranking. Now, I don't know what the ranking is based off of, maybe accuracy or game scores or whatever. The worst umpire in baseball this year, CB Buckner.
Well, Angel Hernandez isn't there to take the honors, so.
That is true. That is true. So you got to have somebody else has to take that spot. Somebody did make a funny point. They said everybody who is if you finish last in the umpire rankings, you should get demoted or terminated. Like the guy who finishes last should get cut every year.
You get relegated down to minor leagues.
Yeah,
or you're umpiring
absolutely.
banana ball.
Yep. Now we do have a surprise last minute guest here who has a fun topic to discuss.
Ooh.
He just jumped in here. I guess he's feeling it tonight because I think he's been on multiple shows with you, Freddie.
Yeah.
But jumping in is the CEO of IE Sports Radio. You know him. You've seen him on, I think, probably every show multiple times, and then some leading half of the shows. It is the one and only Larry B. Good evening,
right,
sir,
Larry.
making the surprise appearance.
Thank you, Mike Patt. Thank you, Freddie B. Yeah, screw it. Let's just go all in tonight, right? This is what we're doing. We're going all in. Again, again, just crazy night. Tons and tons of stuff to talk about. Again, just why not? The Bullpen Bulletin is a show I've been trying to make myself a part of for a long time this season. It's just Monday nights haven't been so kind to me. So I have tried my best, but finally here, really excited for this. So thank you guys very much. Really quick and fun. I know the Around the Diamond is one of my favorite segments of this show. I love it. And I thought of a really cool one today. And I was like, I'm going to try to jump on and do a little random something. So, okay, what do you guys think? Number one thing, the White Sox being up front is already crazy.
Yes.
Right? I mean,
100%.
It's kind of like when you're watching a race and there's somebody who's leading and you're like, okay, who pitted? Like, you know what I mean? I'm sorry, you know what I mean? Like, that name isn't usually up front. Who are you? You know, so the White Sox are leading the AL Central right now, which means that's a massive storyline in itself. But their rotation has been like a fascinating watch, right? So
Davis Martin,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, right? So while everyone expected the offense to carry the weight, their pitching has stepped up big time. So Davis Martin, obviously we talked about, has completely broken out. He's 9-3. He's got if I'm not mistaken, a 3.03 ERA, right? So turning into an absolute frontline anchor alongside Sean Burke. So seeing a team flip their identity from a questionable rotation to a locked-in pitching factory over the winter, to me, that's completely wild. And I just want to put that, I just wanted to say it. I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on that? It's crazy, right?
Yeah, it's been an incredible turnaround. And like you said, it starts with Davis Martin. And by the way, that 3.08, not 3.03, but close enough. The 8 looks like the 3. I'll forgive that. And that's actually worse than what it was when he started the year. He was in the 2s
for a large
portion to start the season. So yeah, he's been a revelation. Burke has been great. Like, you look down this list, I mean, there's a lot of guys that have shown out and really helped flip this thing around. I mean, their worst starter has like a 4.4 ERA. I would love that as an Orioles fan, to have my worst starter be at a 4.4. That would be a fantastic.
Yeah, you've seen the teams that have the better arms are all the teams that are on top of the divisions. I mean, Seattle's got great pitching, and they're leading as well. The Braves, great pitching. The Marlins, we just talked about, they're up there. The Phillies, great pitching. There's a
Brewers.
Brewers.
My goodness.
Tampa.
By the way, fun fact about the Brewers before I get to my Around the Diamond topic, they have the MLB leader in wins. And no, it is not Jacob Mizorowski.
Yeah.
Nor is it any of their starting pitchers. It is relief pitcher Aaron Ashby, who randomly has a 12-1 record despite having started one game. And he leads all of baseball and will pretty much guaranteed lead all of baseball at wins at the All-Star break. And he's not even on the All-Star team.
That's crazy. He's only pitched 52 innings, and gotten 12 wins on the season.
Your weird statistical oddity of the week there. My Around the Diamond topic is short and sweet. It's, so obviously we have the All-Star game coming up next week, and it's usually the second week in the July, which annoys me for two reasons. One, it doesn't divide the season in half. We're going to be at 96 or 97 games by the break. That's not first half, second half. That's 2/3, 1/3, or like 60%, 40%. Like, that's not half, but whatever. Secondly, why isn't it like closer to the 4th of July? It's off by a week. 4th of July is baseball is the 4th of July sport.
I thought it was always the first Tuesday after the 4th of July, but I guess it's the second Tuesday, and it happens to be what's the date going to be? You said like the 12th, 14th?
14th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it always seems to be like in the teens, and I'm just like, just work it out to center it around like 4th of July. Maybe it doesn't have to be on 4th of July, if you want to give it can be the day before the 4th of July, and then there's always the off day after the All-Star break where nobody does anything. So give the players off the 4th of July. Or since 99% of the league usually plays on the 4th of July anyways, just have the daggone game on the 4th of July. And then end it with the fireworks.
They're missing really bad with this one. No, I'm totally with you.
Well, you know why? The attendance numbers. Every ballpark on the 4th gets sellouts, and they have custom merch, hats, stuff like that. When you're spending $50 a hat, I mean, you got that obviously, but
you know what? Freddie brought up the ultimate point. Like my whole argument is tossed out right now. Why? Because money.
With the almighty
unfortunately,
dollar.
The whole thing. You know what, guys? I didn't have an around the diamond topic tonight. I'm done.
You know what? I would love that. They should make 4th of July the All-Star game. I think that would be awesome. And my wife was like, "Hey, what do you want to watch on the 4th of July?" She's like, "Let's watch The Sandlot." Yeah, of course. It's a baseball movie.
Baseball.
You correlate the 4th of July with baseball. Why not have the All-Star game on that night?
Yes. It just makes sense. I mean,
it figure really something out too to sell. Like they could have fan watches at the games, at the stadiums, like nationwide. Sure. Like, hey, you want to watch your team's got 4 All-Stars, but you can't make it to Philly because you're in LA. Come to Dodger Stadium and watch the game.
I think that'd be cool. You got a good point there.
And you know something too, Mike Patt is, ladies and gentlemen, Mike Patt has now been with us for 1 decade. I mean, can we get?
That's awesome, Mike.
It was, I think, I'm dead serious, the summer of 2016, if I'm not mistaken, Mike Patt. Like you have been with us a very long time.
Well, I can tell you because I used to tell this story every year at the IE Sports Radio anniversary. It was April of 2016.
Oh.
It was Fast Break before it was hosted by Davidson Crooks and Dontarius. It was hosted by my old high school buddy, Phil Jones. He invited me on out of the blue, and we talked about the NCAA tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a third person on the show. Larry, do you remember who the third person was?
Oh, gee, I can't remember.
It was this guy.
This guy
was the third person on the show.
It was, and you know what? I couldn't help it.
And you flagged me after the show. You flagged me down. You're like, "Hey, do you do the NFL draft?"
History, because again, ladies and gentlemen, till this day, he is and he will always be our Mel Kiper, but with better hair. I'm just saying, and that's all there is to it, and the rest is history.
Love it.
This man has been with us for a decade, and he has been incredible. And let me just say, when we've had this conversation before, you and I have beaten this one black and blue, but screw it. Just to add to this really fun topic tonight, Freddie, I think you're going to really appreciate this one. Mike, Pat, you and I both know that every single All-Star thing is horrible now. Like everything. Oh my gosh, it's horrible. The Pro Bowl, we don't even have it. Why is it a thing anymore? Please get rid of it. And you and I have literally talked about deteriorate over the years. It's hilarious how funny it's gotten. From the amazing Sean Taylor hit back in 2007, which we all remember.
Yep.
Okay. To now to where they don't even want to touch each other and they're just out there playing around. It's sickening. The NBA.
Sean Taylor would have been banned from football for life if he had done that hit in today's Pro Bowl.
As we used to do like our Halloween, which I guess got played out, where our top 10 scariest, and it was always done this way. Mike Pat would always say like Dick Butkus would have been arrested on the field for battery.
Yes.
Like
there were several guys.
Yeah, I mean it's the truth. And so I mean you see that, Mike, we've talked about the NBA All-Star break as being like, where's the defense? It's 210 to 205. It's horrible. NHL is fun. They're trying their best, and I still think it's pretty solid. But the one we've always talked about, Mike, the one true, like, no matter what happens, it's always an all-star game, is the MLB All-Star game. I still loved that you and I went back and forth before having fun talking about the AL-NL home field advantage. That was fun.
Yeah.
But, regardless, you're right. This is the only All-Star game that I even want to watch. The MLS All-Star game is like a joke. I don't even want to watch that. The Pro Bowl is terrible. The MLB, the NBA All-Star game sucks something awful. NHL is still fun, but if you look at it all with the main sports, at least the MLB has a significant chance. You're totally right. So I would love for this to be somewhere near the 4th, like more closer to the 4th of July. So I like that point a lot. I know I'm sick tickets in the almighty dollars, but still. Keep this going, keep this something that makes the All-Star games. Even, obviously, we have the NASCAR All-Star, where everything has All-Star in it, but the one is the MLB.
You know what? The thing I like too is this year or last year, they brought back teams wearing their own uniforms. Their own team's uniforms.
Yes.
They brought that back last year.
Nice
I loved that.
Point.
And they did a couple of years where they had like these funky American and National League uniforms. I understand, but give me the traditional, you wear your team supporting uniform. And I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, stop messing with the home run derby. Please, MLB, stop changing it. Number one. But also, think of it this, another point that I just thought of while we were talking about this. So, obviously, the day before July 4th, July 3rd, everybody can read a calendar. Everybody is off on July 4th. Nobody works on July 4th. It's a government holiday when it's a weekday. Obviously, this year it was a Saturday. So, you have if the All-Star game's on July 4th, go day before, July 3rd. Everybody finishes up their work or whatever, work week, whatever it may be, before the 4th, get home, grab a brewski, and what could be on if the All-Star game is on the 4th of July? The home run derby.
Yeah.
So everybody gets off of work, gets home, they kick off their 4th of July festivities, their July 3rd evening with the home run derby. It could be perfect.
It would be perfect.
It would. And one more thing. I know I'm just going to keep you guys all night. I'm just kidding. I'm going to say, but one thing. Okay. So obviously Dirt and Diamonds, Mike, Pat, you guys are the show here. This is the show. This is the pros, the tippy top, the show. Obviously Freddie and I have some fun talking about the little show, down there in Dirt and Diamonds, in the California League. But there's something very near and dear to you, I believe too, Mike, Pat, all too well, the Carolina League.
Yes, I do.
And we know the California League. And up until 2019, it was so cool when the All-Star would pick the best from Carolina and the best from California, and they would play at one of the sites. Either one team would travel, they would travel across the country. It was so much fun. They stopped doing that. Obviously, COVID was the death of that. And then out of nowhere, somebody thought, well, it's just too much for these guys. And I'm like, it's too much for them. These guys are professional baseball players. I don't care how young they are. They're freaking. So I like the futures game. But Mike, Pat, give me your thoughts on this. Freddie and I have talked about this already on the show too, but I want your thoughts, so good sir, especially because you're over there on the Carolinas, and like I said, know those teams. What do you think, man? Would you like that one day to bring it back, California versus Carolina, or do you think it is a little much for these guys? Let them have that week off. What do you think?
No, I think it would be worthwhile. And it's also great for these guys, the thing about the pros versus pros, you've already made it, right? You've made it to the tippity top. And additionally, you're an all-star. So you're literally the tippity top of the tippity top. These guys, they're still trying to hone their craft. They're still trying to develop. Why wouldn't you want to go up against the best you possibly could and, get these opportunities? Shoot. And, people talk about, the travel and stuff. Let's not get into what, teenagers and high schoolers have to do for travel ball every year, how much, they have to do. So, I think it would be totally, fine to bring it back or something similar, maybe it doesn't have to be so specific. Maybe it can be like some regional things or things like that. But, I love the idea of, teams from different regions that never get to see each other, never get to play, cutting it up for a couple of games,
It would be awesome. And obviously, I don't know, who do you guys got over there, Mike? I know Myrtle Beach and Charleston. There's another one with a D. I don't know. You guys got some cool Hickory. I know there's some actually cool teams in the Carolina League. They're like, I love what they got going. It's really cool. They're very similar to the California League, and it's cool because you get to see these guys who are so used to playing in those small stadiums. They go at it. They enjoy themselves. They have fun traveling across the country. They enjoy themselves. I mean, you have some great baseball over there. We have some great baseball over here. You're totally right. Why would you not want that? So to me, I want to bring that. I hope they bring that back at one point.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually, and I have an additional reason to be a big fan of the Carolina League because both of the Nationals and Orioles affiliates are in the Carolina League, Delmarva and Fredericksburg. So they're
Delmarva! Both. That's the D name. Sorry.
The Delmarva Shorebirds. Really fun game to go to. It's in Salisbury, Maryland, which might be one of the most awkward cities to get to because you have to go across the Bay Bridge and then like 2 hours south to get to Salisbury. It's really awkward, but
it is kind of funny because one time we talked to when Mike used to do obviously our DMV show. I used to tell him to cover Salisbury if he could. Remember the university when they would occasionally, well, they would usually always make the Division III championship, or not the championship, but the playoffs. Yeah. So anyway, but that's pretty cool. I did not know that. But yeah, again, I see these are great. I don't know, missed opportunities. MLB loves money, don't they? I mean, this could bring a lot.
Yep,
I think, it would be a showcase for these young prospects and guys who have had a good first half of their seasons, because a lot of the time the guys are getting called up right around June, July. So give them, those that haven't been called up yet, an opportunity to be showcased in an all-star game.
Yep. Yeah. The guys who have had strong first halves, they're in the low A, so high A by the end of by the time this happens. Anyways, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I love it. So the Shorebirds, and what's Fredericksburg?
They're just the Nationals.
Oh, they're the okay.
They're really boring. I give them a boo on that one.
In ours, we have the San Jose Giants. I wonder who they belong to. So I mean,
the Angels. Well, that will do it for tonight's show. I'm going to cut it off, or else this man down here is going to keep rambling for the next half an hour, as he usually does. Freddie, any parting thoughts here on this show?
I have no more parting thoughts. My mind is mush right now.
Our thoughts have been parted.
Three straight hours here. It has been great. No, man, I'm just looking at the scoreboard, and the Padres are already down 7-0 in the fourth inning. Walker Buehler can't even go get a guys out against the Diamondbacks. This is really pathetic.
That's your nightmare scenario, isn't it? You have a depleted bullpen, and then your starter can't give you any length. Man.
I need him to give me one more. I need one more strikeout, and he had Gerardo Perdomo down 1-2, and he hits a home run.
Man, rough. That happened. One of the losses last year to the Orioles that everybody kind of points to as like the downturn of the season. They lost 24-2. I think it was to the Reds. It was fairly early on, and it was like a culmination of issues. The bullpen had gotten depleted over the previous week, so there were only like 4 guys really available, and then the starter only went 2 innings. God. So then those 4 guys had to do their best. Then they start getting shelled. One poor guy, he was like a call-up from the day before, never pitched in baseball, had to go 3 innings through like 70 pitches and gave up like 8 runs. Like the poor, I forget who it was, but the dude just got wrecked. And then, of course, the classic position player.
We might be on a position player alert tonight. Keep tuning that.
And we actually did have a position player alert earlier in the Phillies-Royals game. They had to bring in backup catcher Garrett Stubbs to finish that one off. So he only has a 7 ERA so far this year, Stubbs does. So, it's pretty good. But yeah. We got 6 games left basically until the All-Star break. We'll be curious to see how it plays out. Also curious to see who ends up signing up for the Home Run Derby. So far, I believe it's only Caminero is the only confirmed participant.
You got to think Schwarber will be there, right? Come on.
Schwarber is very strongly rumored. Harper is strongly rumored. James Wood has been mentioned a lot. Byron Buxton has gotten some mentions. They're going to find some random guy who's only hit like 12 home runs and put him in. That seems to happen every year. But otherwise, yeah, you got to think some of those big hitters are going to get on it.
Cool. Looking forward to it, man.
All righty. Well, that will do it for tonight's show. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. Thank you to Larry B for making the surprise pop guest and making the show last 15 minutes longer than it was going to be. Thank you for that, Larry. It's already late enough here on the East Coast. That's another 15 minutes. But no, in all seriousness, thank you for jumping in, Larry B. It made the ending a ton of fun. Freddie, of course, thank you as usual for joining me. And reminder, if you are a fan of the show, do follow us on X, yours truly at ISR_DMV, Freddie at FreddieB_sports. And with that, we thank you again for tuning in to the Bullpen Bulletin here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Have a great week. We'll see you next time.